Heyo, my name is Beatriz Yumul. I'm a third year at SDSU. I'm majoring in nursing and minoring in counseling and social change, and I have the privilege of sharing my experience with my remote internship for this session of Virtual International Programs 101. So let's go. So the program that I did was Intern Abroad HQ's remote Spain-based psychology internship, where I was working with a mental health and self-care app over the course of 5 weeks for a total of 100 hours part-time. So there were 3 main reasons I chose to do this program in particular, and that is 1, I care about mental health, so I picked psychology. 2, Spanish is a language that I'm familiar with and want to increase my literacy of, so I picked the program based in Spain. And 3, it is remote, which means I was able to do it in the midst of COVID. And this experience fulfills the international requirement because along with the actual internship, the program consists of and involves weekly reflections for personal and professional growth. And over my 5 weeks, the topics range from cultural competency, time management, communication, problem solving, working with others, my personal challenges, and what I could do to improve and work around them. And during my internship, some of the skills that I got to build up were organization and time management, communication, Spanish literacy, and therapeutic communication. And with the start of my internship, I was also resuming my part-time job with my high school, starting a 20-unit semester, and my family got a new puppy. So that's a lot to juggle in the air, so I really needed to take advantage of my resources and what I had available to me to make sure that I was staying on track. So since I was interning for a company all the way in Spain, and their area in Spain is 9 hours ahead of my area in San Diego, effective communication was very crucial for this role. And from my experience, this involved regularly emailing, video calling, and messaging as necessary. This required me to be on top of sending and receiving messages, getting updates that I needed, sending my questions knowing that there would probably be a delay in when I get my answer, finding ways to work around questions that I had. If I wasn't getting an answer anytime soon, I would figure out something else that I could do instead with my time that would still fulfill the requirements and the responsibilities that I had for the week. Pardon the random outfit change. My job with my internship was translating audio scripts, text, and programs and tools with minor HTML code in there from Spanish to English so that they can expand their psychological services to English-speaking countries and nations. And with that, the way I was using it to practice my Spanish skills was I would read the whole body of work that was in Spanish. I would just read it without any translation. I would try to piece together what the meaning was with what I knew from Spanish, and then I would put it through the translator and see how accurate I was. And eventually, I just gradually got better with recognizing words and sentence structures. As a nursing major, therapeutic communication is very necessary in health and human services. So through my translation of these therapy programs and tools and speaking with my supervisor, I was able to pick up on the structures and the approaches for therapeutic communication. And for me, the hardest part about this internship was finding the times that I could get work done, because I am at home. I just feel like I work best when the house is quiet, so that means working late at night or very early in the morning. And unless I want to be a sleep-deprived zombie, I just could not limit my time for working to that time frame. And the highlight for me during this internship was just all the communication from my intern coordinator, my supervisor, all the faculty at SDSU that I've had the privilege of being in contact with as a result of pursuing this opportunity. And beyond the internship, a main highlight has been that company that I'm working with offered me the opportunity to keep working with them as a freelance psychology content developer, so I am still currently with them to this day. So the biggest downside to remote programs, from my experience, is definitely missing out on the chance to actually travel somewhere, the chance to actually be immersed in a different culture, environment, and lifestyle. And you don't really get consistent, reliable communication with this, especially if there's a huge time zone difference between you and whatever program you're working with. And I feel like in some ways, especially the program that I did, it can just feel like a dull office job, depending on how one takes the experience. In spite of those downfalls, I fully believe that remote and virtual opportunities are great ones that more students need to know about and have access to. So although the exposure is more limited, there is still a good chance for cultural competency to be developed. For me, most of that was developed through the actual contact video calls messaging with my supervisor in Spain about life, catching up, their concerns about what they feel like needs to be adapted in the app, in the content, in order for it to appeal to English-speaking nations. I feel if people take advantage of the other opportunities that are there, there's a wide variety of countries you can work with, from Tanzania, Guatemala, Morocco, Japan, more. Beyond that, there are so many programs, graphic design, conservation, social work, that probably have a lot more interaction with other people that would most likely give more cultural experience and exposure than the program I chose specifically. But based on my interest, I chose the one that I did. Another big upside are that these programs are extremely flexible, so you choose the hours, either 100, 250, and 350, and whether it's done part-time or full-time. So the program that I did was 100 hours part-time over 5 weeks. The alternative is 100 hours full-time over 3 weeks. And the programs note if the time zone difference needs to be taken into consideration. For mine, it didn't, and the way mine worked is I just had a set amount of work to have done by each deadline. My deadlines were Friday of each week, and I could work whenever it was convenient for me, as long as I got my work done by the deadline. And this remote program does have a cost, but it is affordable. My program for 100 hours is $1,000-ish. So $1,000 for a 5-week experience. The longest program you can do is 17 weeks, part-time 350 hours. That's only $1.6K. $1,600 for a 17-week experience. Chance to develop international personal connections, a chance at a letter of rec, chance at continued partnership and working opportunities with them. It's worth it for me. And even aside from just money, these virtual experiences are a lot more accessible, especially for students who have medical limitations, personal responsibilities. If they have responsibilities with their family, they can't go anywhere for extended periods of time to fulfill the international requirement normally. Beyond that, virtual and remote opportunities are just appearing more and more. Even beyond COVID, virtual and remote experiences aren't going away. Technology is changing how so many fields and industries pursue their services and do their work. I believe that students should know that these opportunities are out there, that they are accessible to them, and that they should be encouraged to pursue them, because it prepares them for a better future, cultural competency-wise and technologically savvy-wise. International experience should not be limited to a graduation requirement.